Hi, friends. Welcome to Love Notes on Wednesday. Today is July 1st. It's my anniversary. Happy anniversary to me and my hubby, Michael Mick, for 36 years today. Wow. You know, as we collectively go through this crazy pause that we're in, it really helps us realize what's really important to us. I'm calling it the pandemic pregnant pause. Isn't that what it feels like? Remember, ladies, when you were pregnant and for 9 months you were waiting in this pause and hoping it would be over fast. You can't wait till it is done with, but also terrified about what's life going to be like now. Oh my goodness, the changes, I can't even imagine what's going to come. Now I can't imagine not going through every single bit of that. That pause was worth it. And all that that brought up, the fears, the anxieties, the joy, the moments, deciding what's important and what's not, renegotiating your world that you live in, thinking of things you had never thought of before. That's what's going on now. And I still gravitate towards my children and my spiritual teachings whenever we go through times like this. And my greatest joy is being with my grandchildren. They are the greatest light in my life, and I don't get to see them much these days because of this pause. But my youngest ones, I have two teenage grandchildren, 18 and 16, and then two that live just down the road from me, my daughter's kids, and they are 10 months old and 5 years old. And so they're close. I get to scoot over there every now and then. I don't get to spend as much time with them. So I really treasure the moments that I do. I had an opportunity to spend the day on Saturday with my 5-year-old. We're very close. I had the privilege and the honor of being in the same room with her and her parents as she took her first breath of earthly air. And it was just a miracle. It was so heavenly. And not only that, but I got to be with her 5 days a week and watch her at my home throughout the week while her parents worked. So for 3 years, I had this incredible bundle and the time to be with her and to be present and to appreciate everything from those little tiny diapers and the formula feedings to the bigger diapers and the blended organic foods to the training panties and everything in between. And every day we had our routine. We'd have breakfast and sing songs. We'd go for a long walk all over town in her stroller. We'd go to the park for lunch every day, rain or shine. And we'd have lunch there and giggle and chat. And pretty soon she was old enough to get out into a chair at a little cafe, and we'd go back home, have our afternoon nap, and then get up to stories and Play-Doh and more fun. As a Montessori instructor, this was the highlight of one of my greatest and funnest careers. It was such a joy. And I miss that time. But I get to see her. And Saturday, I had a message from the church. I'm an hour away from my Ocala church family, but I got a message that another church had brought by some food from their pantry that they hadn't completely given away. And some of it, most of it was perishable. So some of the ladies at the church took some of that food to some local organizations, but there was still some left. So I went by and scooped up Kinsley, my 5-year-old grandbaby, and said, let's go for a ride. I need to go up to the church and get some food to another pantry so that it doesn't go bad. Come with me. And I have her car seat in my car, and it's just behind the driver's seat. So I buckled her in, and I put the mirror where I could see her. And I knew I was in for joy because this one is a chatty Kinsley. She just, and these amazing, outstanding words and thoughts. And I was just ready to be fully embraced in that joy. And sure enough, she didn't disappoint. She was just telling me all about the things she was learning, all the things her parents were doing, everything that was going on in the world, the clothes she has, the fun she has. It was just delightful. I looked up at her at one point and I just gave her a wink, and she said, Grandma, I've been talking a lot, haven't I? I said, yeah, you have. And she said, I've been talking so much, my mouth hurts. I said, oh my goodness, do you want to stop for a little while? And she said, yeah, I need to stop talking. That lasted about 10 seconds. If any of you have a chatty Cathy, you know what I'm talking about. And off she went again. We got to the church and she had to explore every nook and cranny. She went through my office, sat in my chair. Grandma, where's my office? Where's my desk? I need one just like at your house. And I said, well, let's set you one up. Sure enough, Jean has a table set up that she does her recordings for the daily word readings and inside voices from our members. And so I set her up there complete with clipboard, crayons, pencils, and she was content as could be. I loaded up the food and I said, come on, Kinsley, we got to get this to another pantry. I knew one in Inverness that would be serving all weekend. So I knew we'd be in good hands. We got in the car and she said, but Grandma, can't we go to a park and have lunch like we did when I lived with you? I said, oh, darling, you never lived with me. I mean, you stayed the night occasionally and stayed every day with me, but you always lived with your mommies. She just laughed and she said, please, please, let's go to a park. What's a grandma to do? We're in a pandemic pregnant pause. Let's have a little fun. So we went through a drive-through and got some food, and I took her to Shalom Park. And any of you that live in the Ocala area, you're probably familiar with Shalom Park. It's not on the tourist maps. It's a beautiful, well thought out space for meditation and walks and thinking and contemplating. It was built by a brilliant architect, and he had a bright, brilliant soul. You have to read about his journey and why he created this space. But it has a little koi pond, duck pond, where you can feed the fish. And it has these beautiful rose gardens and flower gardens and these ancient trees and walking trails. There's a labyrinth that they have made with these wonderful little quotes and quips along the path. And it's just a respite for a troubled soul. There was also a newly wedded couple there taking their wedding pictures in full bridal and groomsman attire. It was so delightful. And Kinsley got to say hi to the bride and tell her, you look so beautiful. I love your dress. She said, thank you. We said, congratulations. And there we sat, enjoying our lunch. She's sitting right next to me on the bench, as close as she can get. And this little bee went by, and she looked at me and she said, Grandma, do you speak bee? Out of the mouth of babes. I said, I don't know, Kinsley. Do you speak bee? Oh, bee whisperer? And she said, yeah. I said, oh, will you teach me bee? And she said, mm-hmm. And she looked at me just so serious. This child is all drama. She looked at me and she said, just like that. And I said, I mean, she knew something I didn't, clearly. Was I not listening to the bees? Oh, I hear the thunder outside. Can you hear it? It's going to be a rainy day. Anyways, I said, what did you say in bee? She said, I said, I'm a nice bee. I'm not going to sting you. And I said, oh, that's wonderful that you know bee. I thought about that and I thought, you know, I never really slowed down enough to listen to the bees. But I'm glad she opened my eyes to the possibility. So off we went, loaded up the car, got to the food pantry. They were very, very grateful that we had all this fresh food for them. And when I took her home, we got out of the car and her cousin was there waiting for her, one of her little BFFs, her little 7-year-old cousin. And she was so excited to see her. But before she went, I picked her up and she wrapped her whole body around me, her long little arms and her legs and her neck. She just clung to me and she looked at me deep in the eye and she said, Grandma, thank you for being my grandma. This was the best day ever. And tears, of course, just rolled down my cheeks. And she said, are those happy tears? I said, oh, very, very happy tears, Kinsley, very happy. You make me very happy. And she kissed me on the cheek and she looked deep into my eyes and she said, zzz, zzz, love you. And off she ran. And I was just so blessed that for that 3 hours, there was no pandemic worry. There was no fear of making payroll or bills. There was no need to rush to get medicine or doctor's appointments or treatments. There was just this delightful pause of balance and joy and love and awakening in the middle of all this. I do hope that your day today affords you a little bit of time to just relax, to be with something that brings you joy, that takes you out of the worry in the pause and the fear in the pause, to just be reminded of who we really are, what our potential is, what kind of a legacy we can give these little ones who are blooming into our greatest thinkers, our greatest inventors. Can we come out of this pause ready to lift their world to a higher vision of what God is calling us to do and to be? Let us do that for them. Let us do that for the bees. Take this time to learn a new language and a new way to communicate. So to you, I say, bzz, 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 bzz. I love you. God loves you. It's July. Celebrate your life. I'll see you Sunday.